great to be here with you guys today. Well, it didn't take long for Alyssa Thomas to be proven as a liar. It didn't take long at all. She says, oh, Kathy Engelbert. Oh, I haven't heard from Kathy Engelbert. Well, actually, Kathy Engelbert reached out to you last week. Remember, Alyssa? You guys communicated through text message last week. Oh, but that doesn't really fit into your victimhood narrative, does it? Then we have activist
Alyssa Thomas looked straight into the camera and told a story that was meant to set the league on fire. She claimed that the WNBA commissioner had remained silent while she was being targeted by trolls and subjected to unprecedented harassment. But within hours, the entire narrative collapsed under the weight of a single text message. It was not just a mistake. It was a calculated move that backfired in front of thousands of fans. Now, the arena is erupting, and not for the reasons she expected. The facade surrounding the WNBA's most protected veteran is finally beginning to crack as the truth about her communication with the league office comes to light.
This Alyssa Thomas situation is the Jussie Smollett situation of the WNBA. Let me guess. After they sent you those messages, Alyssa Thomas, it ended with, "This is Clark country," and they chased you away. Then we have the New York Liberty fans booing Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, which I find interesting. I find the New York Liberty fans booing Kathy Engelbert interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy Engelbert wore a New York...
The drama began when Alyssa claimed that she had not heard a single word from Commissioner Kathy Engelbert regarding the online harassment she had been facing. She painted a picture of a league that had abandoned its stars to the wolves of the internet. It was a classic move from the victimhood playbook, designed to force the league's hand and generate public sympathy. But the problem with playing the victim is that you have to make sure your receipts stay hidden. She believed her narrative was secure until the actual timeline of events was revealed to the public, exposing a massive gap in her story.
Finals series was riddled with calls going against the Minnesota Lynx because it was, wait for it, fixed, allegedly, fixed, it was fixed, rigged, to get the New York Liberty to win a championship. And they're booing the commissioner? Interesting. Let's get right into it, shall we? Like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. Let's start with Alyssa Thomas on recent online harassment. We still have yet to hear anything from Kathy Engelbert.
Alexa Philippou of ESPN dropped the bombshell that Alyssa and the commissioner had actually been exchanging text messages just days before the public outburst. This was not a case of being ignored or having no contact with league leadership. Instead, it revealed a direct line of communication that Alyssa chose to leave out of her public grievance in order to support a specific narrative. When you tell the world that the league is silencing you while you're actively texting the commissioner, you lose all credibility. The revelation turned her emotional appeal into a major public relations nightmare that the league could no longer easily sweep under the rug.
She remained silent, and that's unfortunate when our lives are being threatened. Well, interesting, Alyssa Thomas, because the only people who've been arrested for stalking WNBA players are two individuals that stalked WNBA players that played on the Indiana Fever. Oh, wow. Did Kathy Engelbert speak up about that, Alyssa Thomas? But Caitlin Clark's not black. Oh. When Sophie Cunningham stalker got her, did Kathy Engelbert speak about, but Sophie Cunningham's not lesbian. All right,
This situation is being compared to the infamous Jussie Smollett case because of the way the narrative was allegedly constructed for maximum impact. The podcast narrator did not hold back, criticizing the victimhood narrative as an attempt to distract from Alyssa's own actions on the court. It is a bold comparison, but it reflects the frustration many fans feel when they believe players are using serious issues to gain leverage. By claiming she was being ignored, Alyssa attempted to portray herself as a martyr for the WNBA's old guard. Instead, she ended up convincing many people that some players are more interested in the spotlight than in the actual facts.
Caitlin in the throat. Now I mentioned this. Now I mentioned this. Do you know what Alyssa Thomas wants Kathy Engelbert to do realistically? These players want Kathy Engelbert to police social media. Just do us all a favor. Go to your safe space on Threads. Go to your safe space on Blue Sky and stop swimming in the deep end. Stop swimming with the sharks. Go to your echo chamber, Blue Sky. Go to the echo chamber and Threads and just leave us all alone with your victim Olympics, please.
The irony of Alyssa portraying herself as the victim is not lost on anyone who watched her recent game against Caitlin Clark. While she has been complaining about online comments and harsh words, she was seen physically confronting the league's biggest rising star. Alyssa appeared to drive her fist into Caitlin Clark's neck, a move that many believe would have brought heavy criticism if another player had done it. Yet she expects the league to police the internet while she avoids serious consequences for physical intimidation on the court. It is a double standard that is beginning to wear thin with fans who are tired of watching the rookie become a target for veteran players.
Echo chamber and Threads and just leave us all alone with your victim Olympics, please. Please. Well, what do you want, Kat? What do you want, Alyssa Thomas? You want to get rid of free speech? Is that what you want, Alyssa Thomas? You want to get rid of free speech, Alyssa Thomas, huh? Me words hurt? Oh. Now, Kathy Engelbert, of course, felt the pressure from the mob, felt the pressure from the WNBA old guard, and said, oh, fine, I'll put out a statement. Fine. The WNBA vehemently condemns any and all forms of hate. The safety and well-being.
Caitlin Clark has faced a level of harassment that most players in the league could hardly imagine. Yet she has not complained publicly. She has been stalked, criticized by the media, and physically targeted by opposing players. But she continues to keep her head down and play the game. Many people minimize what she has endured because she does not embark on a media tour demanding an apology every time someone says something offensive. The contrast between Clark's quiet approach and Alyssa's vocal demands for social media intervention is striking. It highlights what many see as a clear divide between those who simply want to play basketball and those who prefer to embrace the role of the victim.
Gets a fist in her neck, while Caitlin Clark has stalkers being arrested, while Sophie Cunningham has stalkers being arrested, while Maisha Hines-Allen's getting called a coon on the court. Kathy Engelbert comes out, scared of the big bad Alyssa Thomas, and has to put out a statement. But now, Alyssa Thomas said, we have yet to hear anything from Kathy Engelbert. Which is interesting, because Alexa Filippo of ESPN said WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and Alyssa Thomas, well...
The commissioner eventually responded to the growing pressure by releasing a generic statement condemning hate, but it was not enough for the activists. They wanted stronger action, and they expected the league to serve as a digital shield for certain players. Kathy Engelbert found herself caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to satisfy veteran players while, according to critics, overlooking more immediate threats. It is noteworthy that the league appears willing to speak out when members of the old guard are offended, yet remains silent when rookies are allegedly being stalked. This perceived selective outrage is exactly why so many fans are beginning to turn against the league's leadership in such a public way.
In the WNBA, who would have thought she would have been a liar? Not I, says the big bad wolf. Not I. Alyssa Thomas, I'm sure she heard the monkey noises when she was in Indiana last year. They probably were in her head. They probably were made up in her mind, but I'm sure she heard them. They just weren't vocalized from the crowd. They were the voices inside her head. Shout out to Randy Orton. And then Annie Costable, activist Annie, she gets sent the dossier. We could tie it all in here. We could tie in the Jussie Smollett.
We have to talk about the real safety issues that had been overlooked while this drama continues to unfold. 2 individuals were recently arrested for stalking players on the Indiana Fever. Yet the league office did not make a major public spectacle out of those incidents. Why is it that real-world stalking involving a rookie is treated with less urgency than mean tweets directed at a veteran? The narrator argues that the league appears to prioritize the feelings of certain players over the physical safety of others. It is a dangerous path to follow, and it is creating a toxic environment where only certain voices seem to be heard. Sophie Cunningham is another player who dealt with a stalker without the league rushing to her defense through a public manifesto. The podcast raises what it describes as a valid point about the identity politics at play within the WNBA. According to the narrator, if you do not fit a certain narrative, your struggles are often overlooked by both the commissioner and media activists. Alyssa Thomas is using her platform to demand protection that, they argue, other players have been denied for years. The issue, they claim, is not about safety for everyone. It is about special treatment for the few who can shout the loudest. This perceived imbalance is creating a massive divide within the fan base. The activist wing of the media, led by people such as Annie Costabile, has reportedly been working overtime to support Alyssa's claims. They supposedly obtained screenshots of direct messages sent to players like DeWanna Bonner that contain racial slurs and death threats. While those messages are clearly unacceptable, the timing of their release feels remarkably convenient to critics. It appears to them like a coordinated effort to distract from the fact that Alyssa was caught misrepresenting her contact with the commissioner. By shifting the focus to the worst corners of the internet, they hope people will forget the narrative that ignited this entire controversy. One of the most unbelievable parts of the narrative is the claim that these trolls were ending their messages with the phrase, "This is Clark Country." It sounds like something taken straight from a bad movie script. Much like the famous MAGA country line from the Jussie Smollett case, it is presented as a way to connect the harassment directly to Caitlin Clark's fan base without offering concrete proof. The narrator mocks the claim, suggesting that these stories are being exaggerated to make the villains appear more like caricatures. When stories become this dramatic, people naturally begin to question their authenticity. The suggestion for these players is simple. If the deep end of the internet is too much to handle, then move to a safer space. Platforms like Threads and Blisky are often described as echo chambers where users can avoid the sharks of free speech. If you cannot handle the intensity of a global platform like X, then perhaps you should not be swimming in the deep end. The demand for the WNBA to police the entire internet is not only unrealistic, but also a direct challenge to the principle of free speech. You cannot control what millions of people choose to say, and attempting to do so only makes you appear increasingly out of touch with reality. The scene at the Commissioner's Cup was pure chaos as New York Liberty fans turned on the very woman many believe helped deliver them a championship. Watching Kathy Engelbert get booed out of the building in New York came as a major shock to the WNBA's old guard. Those fans are not accustomed to seeing the commissioner of their league treated like a villain. But the WNBA is no longer the insulated bubble it once was. In every other major sport, the commissioner serves as the lightning rod for criticism, and it appears that Kathy is finally receiving her initiation into the big leagues of fan hostility. The irony of New York fans booing Engelbert is that many believe she is the very reason they have a championship in the first place. The narrator pointed out that the commissioner once wore a New York City skyline dress to a finals game, calling it a major conflict of interest. According to that argument, it sent a clear message about which team the league wanted to see lift the trophy. To be booed by the very fans you allegedly helped is a unique kind of embarrassment. It suggests that no matter how much you try to tilt the game in favor of a particular market, those same supporters may still turn against you the moment circumstances become uncomfortable. Many people have not forgotten the WNBA Finals, where the New York Liberty captured a championship that some fans believed was handed to them. Allegations that the series was fixed or tilted in favor of the New York market have circulated for months. When a commissioner wears a New York City skyline dress to a championship game, it is easy to understand why conspiracy theories began to spread. Critics viewed it as a slap in the face to the Minnesota Lynx and their stars, who many believe were denied their moment by a league allegedly desperate to see a major market team